What's good, everybody? Welcome to Ben's Blades. Today, we're going to go full titanium on the Benchmade Taggedout. It's going to be a long video, so let's just get right into it. We need a T10 and a T6. Let me see, T9, T10, and a T6. Okay. So what we're going to do is Rockscale designs. It's going to look kind of like a Chris Reeve by the time we're done with it. So that's what we're doing. Let's do the Scout Leatherworks driver. And let's just go ahead and start with the pivot, T10 pivot. Take this stuff out. I've been dreading doing crossbar lock knives for a while. I did a successful one on the Kershaw Bel Air. That was all fine. And I did a Hogue Deck and a Benchmade mini bug out. That is free spinning. Well, then off camera, I did another Kershaw Bel Air, and that was an epic fail. Like, it ruined the knife. Just because of... That is a 5/64 hex. Just because of how it's built, and at least one of the screws on the Kershaw Bel Air are always... They always seem to be... They always seem to be Loctited in, either with red Loctite, or they're just screwed down so tight to the knife that you ruin the screw, you ruin your bit driver, or your bit, or you're going to ruin something else. And then for example, the crossbar lock tool doesn't seem to work quite so well in that knife either, and so it makes it just a nightmare. So from now on, if anybody asks me, I will tell you that it's probably not a good idea to customize the Kershaw Bel Air just generally. I think that is not the smartest thing to do. The Kershaw Bel Air is one of those knives where you're really better off just to leave it alone and appreciate it for what it is. You know, I know that I'm a knife customization channel, but at a certain point, it's just like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Okay, well, can we take this side off yet? Let me see here. Yeah, it kind of looks that way. There we go. That came apart quite nicely. Let me see if I can get these screws off without needing some kind of a tool. Let me get a white rag. Sometimes just getting in there with a little bit extra torque will help a little bit. Nope, we are free spinning. Okay, well, I'll be right back. I need something more heavy duty. Okay, I'm just going to take a Leatherman to this thing because everything is getting tossed. The scale, the standoffs, and the screws, and so it doesn't really matter if I mar the ever-loving snot out of it. So, there we go. There's that. Let me get the blade out of the way so that we're not dropping stuff on it. Okay. Pull that off. Ooh. We got orange on orange. Orange standoffs on an orange Grivery scale, which is kind of consistent with the theme we have going here. It's a really long blade for how thin it is, as you can see. So what that tells me is that it's a bit of a... It's marketed as a hunting knife, is kind of what I'm thinking. So it makes sense that it would come in orange on orange. Okay. Carefully. Try to break this loose. There we go. Ooh. And that screw fell out. Good thing I don't really need it. Okay, so now we take this out. And then the whole thing... Nope, one more. One more stubborn little screw. The Taggedout has a lot of screws in it. Holy shit. Okay. Now, let's see if I can break this loose. Oh, nope. I forgot. I need this little thing to go in there so I can push the pivot barrel out. There we go. Ooh, that does not want to fit. There we go. That is tight. That is going to be a pain in the ass to deal with that later. Oh boy. I am not looking forward to that. Let's just put you off camera right over here. Anybody who's watched my channel for a while, you know what I do with Grivery scales. I fucking break them. Ooh. Oh, that felt good. Cookie, cookie, I'm a cookie monster. Break your back, crack it open like a lobster. Ow. That fucking hurt. What is wrong with me? Oh, man. I got brain damage or something. Oh, boy. That's going to hurt in a second. Oh, jeez. I'm going to break this fucking shit again. Break it. Break it. Ah. Okay, maybe not. Ooh, yeah, there are consequences to my actions. At any rate, let's get back into this. So, this thing, we may as well just take it out. Loosening it tends to make it come apart easier. Or having the blade not in the fully locked, opened or closed position. Okay, there we go. Take the axis lock out. Oh, those are some tiny washers. Look at that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We have a few different brands here. We have Flytanium. That's going to be the crossbar lock, because I learned the hard way not to use steel on titanium contact. Just trust me when I tell you that is not a good idea. Here is the Benchmade mini bug out, the video I did quite a while ago. You can look at it on my channel. The thing is, it's got a titanium lock bar and a steel lock face, obviously. So what happened was the locking edge of the knife that drags along the lock bar actually filed down the titanium lock bar to the point where now I've got lock rock. Can you hear that? So I got to tear that knife apart and fix it, which I'm going to do on camera on another video. That's a story for another day. In the meantime, though, that's what the Flytanium is for. So we got Flytanium, we got xxxadrenalinxxx, and we have, I forget who this was, but I got these oversized lapped phosphor bronze washers off of eBay. I've already tried these in a bug out build that I did off camera, and they work phenomenally well. So we are going to go that route to the extent that we can. Okay, where is that shop rag? Right here. So, I'm just going to put it on the towel directly. Ooh, I need to get some more of this. This is Slip 2000, excuse me, 725. And I use this to clean knife parts. It is not an oil-based cleaner. It's a water-based cleaner. So you either want to lubricate parts that... I'm getting blood on this freaking towel. You either want to lubricate the parts that you clean with it, or you want to make sure that it's dead dry when you clean the knife parts with it, because it's not going to leave behind any kind of oily or slick surface to protect against corrosion. And this steel is not as good a quality steel as the knife blade. So even though it is stainless steel, it's more likely to rust than other parts of the knife. Okay, well, let's do this. Get these shiny, oversized bronze washes. I don't know why I suddenly have a Boston accent, and then it turned to Alabama for some reason. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm weird. Okay. Put some ALG Go Juice to lubricate the contact surfaces. That's what's in here, is ALG Go Juice. So put that on here. Lubricate the other side of it just slightly. Same thing on here. All right, put that down right there. Work it around a little bit. Awesome. It's over lubricated, I know, but hey, whatever. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, now this thing. So we're going to use this tool for once. It's been sitting there. So obviously this is, you know, a titanium crossbar lock, and in my experience that is not good. So we're going to take that and throw it aside, because the Flytanium one, as you can tell, is actually steel. Even though they're known for titanium parts, this is a steel part because they figured it out. They know what they're doing. Nothing against xxxadrenalinxxx, but you know, he tells you to heavily lubricate those titanium parts with grease rather than oil like this. So he would rather you use something like this. The problem is I tried even that and it still screwed up the knife. So I am just going to err on the side of caution anymore. I am not trying to mess up any more knives by messing around with these titanium parts. At least with regard to the lock bar. It's just not a risk I am trying to take. So we are not going to go that route anymore. I'm going to try to do this. Try to set this up. I'm doing this a funky way. There's probably a better way to do this. This is why I hate putting together these crossbar lock knives, is because there's kind of a right and a wrong way to do it. And I'm not a huge fan of it, if I'm being real. Okay. Now, I'm missing a step. I need this part right here. I'll think of what that's called in a second. It's the blade stop pin. I need, you know what, let me get all these parts that I don't need and put them somewhere that is not here. Let me put these over here off camera, because I don't want to clutter up my space if I'm not going to need them anymore. There we go. Blade stop pin. That's what it is. It's your friendly neighborhood blade stop pin. Now, if I can just wiggle this free. I wonder if it's in there just enough that I can just kind of shove it in there. No, I'm just going to take it all the way off. Put the blade stop pin in just like this. There we go. If you would focus, there we go. Okay, now, there. So now we have to get the Flytanium lock bar in for this. There we go. At least the Benchmade knives and the Hogue knives, you can take them apart. I really think that the Kershaw Bel Air, it really is not built for it to ever be taken apart again. I mean, I don't think necessarily the Benchmade and Hogue knives are meant for you to take them apart, even though they're somewhat easier to take them apart. I think that the Kershaw Bel Air is one of those knives where it's just like they do not want you to take that apart. They really do not want you to take that knife apart. Oh boy. Okay. I think we can put one side of the scale on right now. There we go. Rockscale Designs. And there you have it. So, yeah, awesome. Awesome stuff. Okay. Now, let's do this. I need to find the right screw. There we go. I think that's it. It says pin, so I'm guessing it's for the blade stop pin. So, oh boy, this is going to be a long video, guys. I told you it was going to be a long video because this is a tedious process. Okay. Now, protectors. The scale. Are these the same size? No, one's actually slightly longer than the other. Well, I guess we'll fuck around and find out. Put those over here for now. Get these screws out of here. These older screws. Put those aside. That's the pocket clip. We're going to put that over there. Okay, I think we are a bit more organized. So I'm going to do the scale screw for that side. And we're going to try it that way. That almost seems like it's too short. I mean, it goes in, screws in, and it tightens down, so there's that. So I guess I'm not too worried about it. I can adjust them, put different screws in different places later should it become necessary. Okay, now we need to screw in all of the standoff screws. So actually what I think I might do is take this back out, since it's shorter, I think, and use these slightly longer ones for the middle part right here. See, that actually fills out the inside liner better. So I'm thinking that is the way we need to do that. So, and then this is the other pin screw for the other side. Okay, now the standoffs. In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have got a backspacer from Rockscale Design. Rockscale Design, these are USA made, by the way. The scales from Rockscale Design. So, cool stuff. Okay, standoffs. So I need standoff screws. Put those right there in a group. Okay, put this standoff in. Get a screw ready. Okay. And then another one. It is so hard to see what I'm doing and do this on camera. So if some of it ends up being done off camera, well, you'll just have to excuse me for that. What the hell? Interesting. So the Rockscale Design scales use less screws. Check that out. I didn't know that. I was about to try to put a screw in there. Okay. Well, that's going to be interesting to try to put this back together then. All right. Well, let's screw them in where we can get them in. I did not notice that until just now. That is very interesting. Oop. Okay. Put you back where you belong before you do some damage. Okay, well... crap. Okay, well, I think then the best thing to do is to try to get the pivot bushing in. This is still titanium, so I've learned the hard way that if you want a monochromatic, like you want a titanium pivot bushing for Benchmades, it's probably best to get them from xxxadrenalinxxx, because I've got them from other manufacturers and they don't fit. The tolerances are off. I'm putting some AeroShell on here because it's going to make contact with the blade, and so we're just going to try to lubricate this pretty liberally. But the other manufacturers I've noticed don't fit to the exact same tolerances, and so You know, I've had them fit like the OEM, like Benchmade scales, but they don't fit aftermarket scales because the aftermarket scales, oddly enough, are built to tighter tolerances. And I need to pull the battery out and change it, so we will be right back. All right, moving on. So we need to take this pivot barrel, pivot bushing, whatever you want to call it, and carefully try to work it through the other side. I always hate doing this because it's so finicky. I hate it. Sometimes it wants to go through without a lot of trouble, and other times it doesn't. Okay, it needs to go up the other way. Okay. This is going to be a pain in the ass. Come on. So the whole idea is you're supposed to be able to line the flat side up with the flat side of the disassembly tool, and then it's just supposed to kind of wiggle its way in. Ooh. Well, there we go, but all too often it will ping the disassembly tool across the room, which is exactly what happened. So let me see if I can reach for it. There we go. Hopefully I won't need it again, but if I do, there it is. I'm actually surprised that went as well as it did. I figured there are some knives where I seriously spend an hour trying to fit those through there. So I'm kind of astounded that it went that well. Okay. All right, before anything else crazy happens, let's get the T10 pivot screw on and just be done with it. And then the blade stop pin screw. And then the standoff screws. Put this out of the way here. Right here. No. I think the standoff screws, does it really matter? No, they're kind of the same size. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll deal with this off camera and try to figure out where all the screws necessarily are supposed to go. And I'll worry about that some other time. No. Okay. Well, let me take this one out and put it in here. Yeah. Okay, so this needs to come out. Because that actually is slightly longer. It needs to be one of these screws. We're getting there. We're getting through this. It's going to be a fantastic knife when it's done. Oh boy. Okay. What I like about this kind of bead blasted look is it's going to leave like snail trails and scratches and stuff from being in your pocket. And it's going to look really cool, I think. Okay. Well, let's function check real quick. It is not quite centered. It was dead center when we started. I forgot to do a function check before we got into it. Usually I'm pretty good about that. But it was dead center. It wasn't drop shutty because it was a new knife and there was no blade play. So, and there currently isn't blade play. I mean, I can get it centered by doing a couple of little tricks to it off camera. But let me see if I can just re-tighten down the pivot just a little bit, and we'll see if we can just mess with it until we get it right. Yeah, so you see now it's just dead center, but actually it's a little bit going the other direction now. Let me see. Is it though? No, it's dead center. Okay, so there you have it. So it needs a standoff screw for this side. Trying to put it into a T10 because I'm a goofball. Okay. Now here we go. And then it pretty much just needs the screws for the pocket clip. And of course it's going to need fewer pocket clip screws because it's only using 2 screws. And then I need to lubricate the lock bar because it's kind of gritty, so we need to lubricate that and play around with it and get it to smoothen out a little bit. Those T6s? Yeah, they are. Okay. I'm going to try just leaving this face down. And actually, let me pick this up slightly, hold it into place. There we go. Okay. Trying not to mar the finish too much before I get it in my pocket. Like when you scratch it up trying to build it, that's different than like scratching it while you're using it. It's like not meant to be, in my personal opinion. You're meant to scratch it through normal wear and tear, not through assembly and disassembly. The pocket clip is also Rockscale design, by the way. I'm fairly certain. Actually, I don't know if I like that pocket clip, so I'm going to grab another one. Alright, Lynch Northwest to the rescue. Lynch Northwest are my jam when it comes to pocket clips. They just do everything right. Yeah, this one I'm not a fan of just the fitment. It's not a tight pocket clip. It's actually a little too loose and like rattly. So it's unfortunate, but hey, what are you gonna do? Okay, Lynch Northwest. Let's pull this thing out. And oh yeah. Yeah, baby. And then we'll be done. And then we can get you guys out of here. I mean, you kind of know what it looks like, so if you want to leave, then go ahead and leave. It doesn't matter to me. But here we are. It's kind of a short pocket clip. Later on, off camera, I might replace it with a pocket clip that's longer. Or maybe not. I don't know. It depends. Sometimes I don't even use pocket clips. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Because sometimes I will just like shove it in my pocket and not even use the pocket clip. It varies. It depends on the knife and what my philosophy of carry is. Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now, the rest of it should be easier. Excellent stuff. Titanium pocket clips from Lynch Northwest. Not a sponsor of the channel. I'm not even affiliated with them. I just put their pocket clips on everything. Okay. Needs to be broken in. Interestingly, the crossbar lock is dead flush with the scales, which you might think is nice, but it kind of makes it a little difficult to grab the lock bar. I mean, I'm sure I'll get used to it. Just got myself in the fingernail. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but right now it's like, that's kind of awkward. Okay, well, there you have it. We now have a Benchmade Taggedout that is full titanium, CPM 154 steel of all things. I'm not sure why they did that, but I'm sure they had their reasons. CPM 154 is excellent stuff. I mean, honestly, if every knife in the world was CPM 154, I would be just fine with that. But here it is, right next to the Chris Reeve large Sebenza 31. So, in a way, we kind of have a Sebenza-style Benchmade Taggedout going on. Excellent stuff. So there it is. We now have a completed knife. Looks cool, doesn't it? Full titanium, full monochromatic parts. This knife looks and feels like $1,000,000. Okay, there you have it. Questions, comments, put them in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, until next time, this is Ben from Ben's Blades telling you, carry a knife everywhere you legally can. I will catch you later.